Gentlemen, in this video, we will be discussing a very fantastic and intriguing topic that I am sure will pique your interest. Now let's cut through the chase and get real. We're diving headfirst into the murky waters of navigating women in a toxic society. Strap in, because we're about to decode the playbook for dodging drama, sidestepping toxicity, and emerging stronger than ever. Get ready to arm yourselves with knowledge, resilience, and a whole lot of badassery as we unravel the complexities and empower ourselves to thrive amidst the chaos. Number 1. Recognize signs of toxic behavior. Think of toxic behavior like a bad smell in a crowded room. You might not always see it, but you can definitely sniff it out. Picture this. You're at a party, and there's that one person who always brings drama like it's their plus one. That's a classic sign of toxicity. It's like they have a toxic cloud following them around, raining negativity on everyone's parade. So keep your nostrils sharp for behaviors like manipulation, gaslighting, or constant negativity. They're like stink bombs in the garden of friendship. Remember, just because someone's toxic doesn't mean you have to stick around and breathe in their toxic fumes. It's okay to grab your metaphorical gas mask and make a smooth exit. And hey, if you're ever unsure if something smells fishy, don't hesitate to ask a trusted friend or confidant for a second opinion. After all, 2 noses are better than 1 when it comes to sniffing out toxicity. Number 2. Develop assertive skills. All right, gentlemen, imagine you're starring in your very own action movie, except instead of dodging bullets and saving the world, you're mastering the art of assertiveness like a boss. Assertiveness is like having a verbal ninja sword. It's sharp, it's effective, and it cuts through BS faster than a hot knife through butter. So grab your imaginary sword and get ready to slay those communication dragons. Now, assertiveness isn't about being aggressive or steamrolling over people's feelings. Unless you're dealing with internet trolls in that case, unleash the beast. It's about standing tall, speaking your truth, and setting boundaries like a pro. Think of it as laying down the law without the judge's wig and gavel, although that would definitely make things more interesting. But here's where the interactive part comes in. Assertiveness is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. So why not turn it into a game? Challenge yourself to assertiveness mini-missions, like asking for extra ketchup at the drive-thru or telling your noisy neighbor to turn down the bass at 2 a.m. Nicely, of course. It's like leveling up in a video game, except instead of unlocking new weapons, you're unlocking a newfound sense of confidence and self-respect. And hey, if you're feeling a little intimidated by the idea of assertiveness, don't worry, we've all been there. Just remember, it's better to speak up and risk a little discomfort than to stay silent and let resentment simmer like a pot of forgotten spaghetti sauce. Nobody wants that. So channel your inner verbal ninja, sharpen your assertiveness skills, and prepare to conquer communication challenges like a true badass. Number 3. Trust your intuition. All right, now gentlemen, imagine you're a detective in a cheesy detective movie, and your intuition is your trusty sidekick like Sherlock Holmes and Watson, but with a lot more sass and a little less tweed. Your intuition is like a sixth sense, tingling in the back of your mind and whispering secrets in your ear. So, grab your magnifying glass and get ready to solve the mystery of life like a true gumshoe. Now, intuition isn't just about blindly following your gut feelings. Although sometimes your gut knows things your brain doesn't like, where you left your keys. It's about tuning in to those subtle cues and instincts that are trying to tell you something important. It's like having a built-in lie detector. Except, instead of wires and electrodes, it's just that little voice in your head saying, something doesn't smell right here. But here's where the interactive part comes in. Practice listening to your intuition and trusting it to guide you, even when things seem a little fuzzy. It's like playing a game of trust your gut. No, not the board game, although that would be interesting. Next time you're faced with a tough decision, take a moment to quiet your mind, listen to that inner voice, and see what it's trying to tell you. Who knows, you might just uncover some hidden gems of wisdom buried beneath the noise of everyday life. And hey, if your intuition ever leads you astray, hey, even detectives make mistakes. Don't sweat it. Trusting your intuition is like playing the stock market. Sometimes you win big, and sometimes you end up investing in Beanie Babies. Hey, it seemed like a good idea at the time. The important thing is to keep honing that intuition muscle and learning from your experiences. So go forth, trust your gut, and prepare to navigate the twists and turns of life like the savvy detective you were meant to be. At number 4, cultivate self-awareness. All right, imagine that. You're in the grocery store, cruising down the aisle of life, and suddenly you spot a shelf labeled self-awareness. Yeah, it's not as flashy as the cereal aisle, but trust me, it's where the real good stuff is hidden. Self-awareness is like having a superpower. It's knowing yourself so well that even your worst enemies couldn't surprise you with a birthday gift you hate. So, take a moment to reflect on yourself, your values, your quirks, and your boundaries. It's like giving yourself a mental checkup, no copay required. Now I know what you're thinking. But how do I even start this self-awareness journey? Well, think of it like detective work, but instead of solving crimes, you're solving the mystery of your own psyche. Grab a magnifying glass and start examining your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Notice patterns like how you react when someone cuts you off in traffic, or when your boss assigns you extra work on a Friday afternoon. It's like being your own Sherlock Holmes, minus the deerstalker hat and pipe, unless that's your thing. No judgment here. And hey, don't be afraid to ask for help on this self-awareness scavenger hunt. Sometimes your friends or family can provide valuable insights that you might have missed, like pointing out that you always make the same joke when you're nervous. Hey, we all have our coping mechanisms. So grab a buddy and embark on this journey of self-discovery together, and it's like a buddy cop movie. But instead of catching bad guys, you're catching personal growth and enlightenment. Before we finish up the rest of our points, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the Soulful Synergy channel. It's a space where we dive deep into topics like self-care, personal growth, and building meaningful connections. Join our community of like-minded individuals on a journey of empowerment and inspiration. Hit that subscribe button, and let's embark on this journey together. Number 5, seek healthy role models. Gentle picture, you're on a quest for the Holy Grail. But instead of knights and round tables, you're on the hunt for kick-ass women who are crushing it in life. These are the Wonder Women, the Hermione Grangers, the Beyoncés of the world. Except they're not fictional characters. Well, maybe Beyoncé is a bit of a superhero. These role models are like beacons of light in a sea of mediocrity, showing us that it's possible to navigate through the chaos of a toxic society with grace, strength, and a killer wardrobe. So, who are your role models? Maybe it's your mom who juggles a million things without breaking a sweat, or that badass CEO who started from the bottom and now she's here. Cue Drake. Take a moment to think about the qualities you admire in these women. Is it their confidence, their resilience, their ability to rock a power suit like nobody's business? Whatever it is, channel that energy and let it inspire you to level up your own game. But here's the deal. Don't just idolize from afar, get interactive with it. Reach out to these role models, if they're accessible, and soak up their wisdom like a sponge. It's like getting a VIP backstage pass to the concert of life, except instead of meeting your favorite rock star, you're getting invaluable life advice from someone who's been there, done that, and got the t-shirt to prove it. And hey, if you can't find a real-life role model, don't worry, you can always turn to books, podcasts, or even Instagram for some virtual inspiration. Just remember, the key is to find someone who lights a fire under your butt and motivates you to be the best version of yourself. So go forth and seek out those role models like a treasure hunter on a quest for gold, because trust me, they're worth their weight in inspiration. Number 6, prioritize self-care. All right, imagine you're a superhero, because let's be real, we're all superheroes in our own way, and self-care is your secret weapon like Batman's utility belt. But instead of grappling hooks and batarangs, it's filled with bubble baths and fuzzy socks. Self-care is like giving yourself a big warm hug from the inside out, and in a toxic society, it's your shield against the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Shakespeare, eat your heart out. Now, self-care isn't just about indulging in Netflix marathons and devouring a tub of ice cream, although those are definitely valid options. It's about tuning in to what your mind, body, and soul need to recharge and thrive. So ask yourself, what makes you feel alive? Is it going for a walk in nature, dancing like nobody's watching, even though your cat totally is? Or maybe it's just taking a few deep breaths and reminding yourself that you're doing the best you can in a world that's sometimes as confusing as IKEA instructions. But here's where the interactive part comes in. Self-care is all about experimenting and finding what works for you. It's like being a mad scientist in the lab of life, except instead of concocting potions, you're mixing up a magical formula for happiness and inner peace. So try different things, whether it's journaling, meditation, or even screaming into a pillow like a banshee, and see what resonates with you. Who knows? You might just stumble upon your own personal self-care superhero cape, complete with glitter, obviously. And remember, self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. So don't feel guilty about putting yourself first every once in a while. After all, you can't pour from an empty cup, but you can definitely sip from a cup that's overflowing with self-love and awesomeness. So go ahead, treat yourself like the superhero you are. You deserve it. Number 6. Build a support network. Absolutely, let's make point number 5, engaging with everyday language, interactivity, and a touch of humor. Build a support network. All right, picture this. You're building your very own Avengers squad, but instead of fighting evil villains, you're assembling a team of friends, family, and allies who've got your back no matter what. These are the people you can call at 3 a.m. when you've accidentally locked yourself out of your apartment again, or when you need a shoulder to cry on after a particularly brutal episode of Grey's Anatomy. Your support network is like your personal cheerleading squad, except instead of pom-poms, they're armed with hugs, empathy, and maybe a pint of Ben & Jerry's. Now, building a support network isn't just about collecting Facebook friends like Pokemon cards. It's about cultivating meaningful connections with people who lift you up and make your life a little brighter. So reach out to those friends who always know the right thing to say, or that family member who gives the best pep talks, even if they're a little cheesy. But here's where the interactive part comes in. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable and ask for help when you need it. It's like playing a game of emotional truth, or dare, except instead of daring you to eat a spoonful of cinnamon, your friends might dare you to open up about what's really bothering you. Scary, I know. But trust me, vulnerability is like the secret sauce that strengthens bonds and turns acquaintances into ride-or-die allies. And hey, if you're feeling a little lost or lonely, don't worry. You're not alone in feeling alone. Try saying that 5 times fast. Reach out to local support groups, online communities, or even your friendly neighborhood therapist for a little extra support. Because remember, even superheroes need a sidekick every now and then. So go forth and build that support network like a boss. You've got this. In wrapping up, let's remember this. Life can be a wild ride, especially when dealing with toxicity. But armed with humor and the support of our tribe, we can face anything that comes our way. So let's keep lifting each other up, laughing through the chaos, and showing the world what we're made of. Here's to embracing our inner strength and navigating the twists and turns of life with courage and authenticity.